What's poppin' YouTube, man? It's your boy Yak back with another banger. We got fucking the worst news of the week. I think I should start reacting to these weekly and see how they turn out. Think that'd be a good look, good content for us. We ain't gonna waste no time. Let's get this to a couple likes, couple comments. We'll keep it pushing, man. Let's get it.
It's part of a murder-for-hire plot, orchestrated by her estranged husband in a bid to get his hands on their assets. Shocking footage shows 44-year-old Yesenia Jessica Torres attempting to run away as a gunman chased her down in the parking lot of a San Bernardino restaurant. The panicked victim could be seen trying to fight back against her assailant before she tried to flee on foot, only to be shot dead during the ambush. Police initially suspected that Torres had been killed in a robbery gone wrong, but they now believe that the shooter was one of 4 men hired by the victim's estranged husband to kill her.
One of 4
the
is
accused gunman,
crazy.
31-year-old Gerardo Llamas Torres, fled the scene in a getaway car driven by 54-year-old Arnaldo Ruelas. They drove to an abandoned parking lot where they got into a second getaway car driven by Arnaldo's brother, 37-year-old Reynaldo Ruelas. The 3 men were among 5 arrested, which also includes Torres' estranged husband, 53-year-old Sergio.
How much did he pay each of them, or give all of them one lump sum for 5 of them or 4 of them to go out for one hit?
Reveles, and Sergio's business partner, 42-year-old Juan Perez. All 5 suspects have pleaded not guilty to murder, robbery, financial gain, and lying in wait.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, $118 for car insurance. That's how much I was paying. Okay.
We don't care.
Number 14, Caribbean shark attack. A 55-year-old Canadian woman's vacation in paradise turned into a complete nightmare after losing both her hands to a 7-foot bull shark during a trip to the Turks and Caicos Islands. The shark initially bit the tourist in the thigh during a swim in hip-deep water off Providenciales before charging at her a...
Hip-deep water. That's like 5 feet for the average person. No, that's like 3 feet for the average person. Was the sharks in the water? Like, was it like a swim with sharks type thing? Or did the shark just pull up and get to eating this hoe? Like, let me know.
Second time, prompting her to instinctively raise her hands in an effort to protect herself. By the time the woman's husband entered the water and wrestled the shark away, giving her a chance to rush to shore, it had bitten one of her hands off at the wrist and the other at the forearm. She collapsed onto the sand and was rushed to a nearby hospital before being flown back to Canada to undergo additional surgeries. In a statement, the Turks and Caicos government claimed that the woman was attacked while trying to take a selfie with the shark, but this detail remains unconfirmed by her family. Number 13.
What got to do with it? That shark still attacked her.
A California fire captain was murdered inside her San Diego home, and authorities are searching for her wife, who was conspicuously absent from the scene. 49-year-old Rebecca Beck Marody was found stabbed to death at around 9 p.m. on February 17th after deputies responded to a reported assault with a deadly weapon at the residence. Authorities have yet to reveal a motive, but have identified a 53-year-old Yolanda Marody, also known as Yolanda Olinishak, as the prime suspect in the case. She remains at large, and law enforcement is encouraging anyone with information
she
to come
got
forward
up
and
out
share
of
what
there.
they know as the investigation continues.
Damn. She got up
12,
out of there,
Delta
Chad.
plane crash at Toronto. An onlooker watched helplessly as he captured footage of a Delta Airlines plane crashing and flipping on a snow-covered runway at Toronto Pearson Airport as it arrived from Minneapolis. In the video, the plane could be...
Chad, that shit look like a scene from a movie, Chad. That shit shouldn't
Toronto
even be
Pearson
real. Look at that shit, Chad. That's like some Final Destination type shit right there. And, Chad, side note, we been getting all these plane crashes for the past, couple weeks. Compared to last year, going into March, we had more plane crashes last year than this year. So last year, we're on the mark for actually a better year of less plane crashes than last year. I don't know why they're being highlighted so much right now, because they're not highlighted. Like, last year you didn't see plane crashes, even though it was a bunch of plane crashes. You see what I'm saying? I don't know why they're highlighting them right now, but something going on in the world right now that they distracted us from. We gonna keep it pushing.
as it arrived from Minneapolis. In the video, the plane could be seen leaning to the side, causing a wing to hit the pavement and break off. The man filming descended into an audible panic as the plane burst into flames and rolled. By the time the aircraft came to a stop, it was completely upside down, leaving the 80 passengers inside shocked and disoriented as a thick plume of black smoke spewed from the plane's back end. 19 people were treated with mostly minor injuries, while 2 individuals remain hospitalized in critical condition. Everyone is expected to survive, and investigators are currently working to determine the cause of the crash and how the plane ended up belly up on the runway.
Yeah, that's an airplane,
difficult at the time of the accident, with hundreds of flights having been cancelled in the 2 days prior due to heavy snowfall, but authorities have not specified whether they believe the inclement weather played a role in the wreck. Number 11. Edwin Rivera.
That's crazy, Chad.
While attempting to serve a search warrant at Manhattan Housing Project on Tuesday, February 16th, the NYPD Emergency Services Unit discovered that 34-year-old Edwin Rivera had barricaded himself inside the 6th floor apartment where he was living as a squatter during the 4-hour-long standoff that ensued.
Chad, I got a whole thing about these squatters, Chad. I own a house right now, Chad. Let me get another house that I'm getting fixed up. I'll pull up, and it's a family of 3 there just living in my house, Chad. You think I ain't getting them motherfuckers out? You think I'm knocking on? You think I'm calling the cops, and the cops gonna tell me I can't walk in my house because I got squatters there, Chad? You think I ain't gonna kick the door down before I even decide to call the cops, Chad? I'm on all bullshit. Y'all in my crib right now trying to squat for a couple years so y'all can own the shit? Hell no, Chad. I got kids to feed. Fuck that.
Rivera fired multiple shots through the door.
Fuck
Instead
that,
of firing
Chad.
back, the police retreated from the doorway and tried persuading Rivera into surrendering. The negotiations ultimately failed, prompting the team to attempt entry for a second time. Rivera once again fired at the officers, striking one of them in the shoulder. This
Damn.
time, the cops shot back and were able to apprehend the suspect. Described by authorities as a career criminal, Rivera has multiple prior drug and gun-related felony convictions dating as far back as 2009. He was on parole when the standoff occurred and had most recently been arrested 3 months earlier for resisting arrest, which is not a bail-eligible offense in New York State. Rivera remains hospitalized with multiple gunshot injuries, and both he and the officer he shot are expected to make full recoveries. Number 10. Harrison Jones. A Michigan man drove over 700 miles and set fire to a Bensalem, Pennsylvania home after discovering that a man who lived there
Hold on, how far he
to
drove? How far he drove?
A Michigan man drove over 700 miles and set fire to a
Chat. Let me explain something to you. You know how mad, chat, you gotta be to drive 700 miles, chat. Sustain that anger for the whole 700 miles to set a house on fire, chat. He drove with the sleep, woke up to naps, drove, and he never stopped being mad. He said, I'm going there to burn this house down. That's dedication, chat. We should strive to all be that mad one day, chat. For real, chat. Sometimes you just gotta get that mad, chat. Sometimes you just can't always be the bigger person, chat. I ain't saying strive to go burn a house down. Sometimes you just gotta punch a nigga in the face, chat.
Bensalem, Pennsylvania home.
Hey, and sometimes punching a nigga in the face is different levels for nigga. This might be his punching a nigga in the face, driving 700 miles and burning your house down. You feel me?
After discovering that a man who lived there had recently communicated with his ex-girlfriend, 21-year-old Harrison Jones of Rockford is accused of setting the house ablaze with 6 people and 2 dogs inside. Both dogs died, but all of the human occupants managed to escape, with some household members having no choice but to jump to safety from second-story windows. Surveillance footage from a neighbor's house showed a vehicle pulling up to the residence at around 5 a.m. The driver exited the car and disappeared near the back of the home for more than 10 minutes before running back to his vehicle and speeding off. Roughly 30 seconds later, there was an explosion, and the home quickly became engulfed in flames. Investigators traced the vehicle to Jones and discovered that his ex-girlfriend had been in an online
He got 6
relationship with a man who lived at the home since
He got 8 attempts.
Jones is facing a litany of charges.
He got 8 attempts, 6 on humans, 2 on dogs. He probably get more time for the dogs than the humans the way America works. Let's be real.
Including arson and 6 counts of attempted homicide.
Oh, damn, they ain't count the dogs? Oh, he probably got murdered because the dogs died. So he definitely got 2 accounts of murder. 2 accounts of murder, probably 2 accounts of animal abuse, animal
Oliver
endangerment.
Lane.
You know, they don't about dogs and them
A
animals.
high-profile British banker's son has landed a sweetheart plea deal after being accused of trying to kill his girlfriend at his Manhattan apartment last August. 26-year-old Ivy League graduate Oliver Lane was originally
They
charged
look
with
good together,
strangulation,
chat. They look
assault,
good
and
together.
criminal obstruction of breathing after he allegedly beat and tried to suffocate 25-year-old comedian Sienna Hubert Ross. The incident occurred during an argument over jealousy and cheating suspicions that seemed to go in both directions. Months later, the prosecutor told Hubert Ross that the charges against Lane were being dropped in exchange for his agreement to attend therapy and abide by a restraining order, even though he had allegedly violated it in the past.
She
The decision to
bad,
let Lane
Chad.
off the
She one of the
hook
ones.
scot-free also came despite photographic evidence
Chad.
of Hubert Ross's injuries, which left her feeling betrayed and re-victimized. Prosecutors cited a lack of sufficient evidence to prove
she
Hubert Ross's
nice,
lost consciousness
Chad.
as their reason for
Damn.
dismissing the case. They also expressed fears that the victim's social media posts, which include some jokes of an adult nature, would be used to attack her credibility in the courtroom. Number 8. The murder of Robert Brooks. In a shocking act of violence that was captured on video in December 2024, 43-year-old Robert Brooks was beaten to death by multiple corrections officers while handcuffed. The homicide occurred shortly after Brooks' arrival at Marcy Correctional Facility in Oneida County, New York, where he was serving a 12-year sentence for assault after being transferred from another prison. The officers punched Brooks, grabbed him by the neck and threw him to the floor during the attack, which was reportedly the third beating he had received since arriving at the facility. He died the next day from compression of the neck and blunt force injuries. Out of the 10 guards who were fired from their jobs, 6 are charged with second-degree murder, including Nicholas Anzalone, David Kingsley, Anthony
They be
Farina,
getting away with that
Christopher
shit, Chad.
Wallraff, and Matthew Gallagher, Michael Mashaw.
Let's clap it up
Michael
as a- let's
Fisher,
clap it
and
up as
David
a
Walters,
team,
each
as a
face
whole,
a
Chad. They be
first-degree
getting away with
manslaughter
shit like
charge,
that.
while a 10th officer faces an evidence tampering charge. At least 6 of the accused were released from custody after each posted a $250,000 bond.
25 bands.
Number 7,
Man, they had
LaTorre
25
Collins.
bands as a cop.
Just days after going through a breakup, a 38-year-old Florida woman stalked her ex relentlessly and shot his female cousin in the face, apparently unaware that the victim was a relative. According to a police report, 38-year-old LaTorre, apparently unaware that
Is this a relative, chat? That's what we doing right now? This better not be the relative he speaks of, chat. I mean, he could be African. He could be African. You feel me?
the victim was a relative.
You for sure
According
be
to a police
African,
report, 38-year-old LaTorre Collins had been calling her ex non-stop since the split, and he had stopped answering the phone. After being unable to reach the man, Collins tracked him down at a Jacksonville restaurant and ambushed her ex and his cousin while they were stopped at a red light. She reported
Not his cousin, chat. Stop the bullshit right now. I demand. Stop the bullshit. Don't feed us lies. Talk about that's his cousin, chat. On what side, chat? By marriage? That's his play cousin? Fuck, chat. What the fuck they think they fooling? They trying to make this man look good in the public eye.
restaurant and ambushed her ex and his cousin while they were
That's
stopped
his
at a red
cousin.
light. She reportedly blocked her ex with her vehicle, then exited her car and began banging on his window. An argument ensued, during which Collins shot 42-year-old Latasha Taylor in the head. Taylor remains
man.
hospitalized with critical injuries.
Let me go
while
back one more time.
42-year-old Latasha Taylor
Face kind of strong, chat. And a transformer, robots in disguise.
Taylor in the head. Taylor remains hospitalized with critical injuries while Collins has earned herself free room and board at a Duval County detention facility. She's currently being held in custody on an attempted second-degree murder charge with bond set at $250,000.
How to create
Damn,
dope
attempted?
t-shirt designs for a print-on-demand store. Whether you're creating t-shirt designs
Attempted
for
is
clients
wild.
or for
I
yourself,
thought she got the
Number
job
6. Mordecai Braffman.
Also issuing stay-away orders against R.P. Rafi and Yaron Rafi.
A 27-year-old Jewish man named Mordecai Braffman is facing potential prison time for shooting at 2 men he mistook for Palestinians who were actually a father and son visiting from Israel. According to
Damn.
news reports, Braffman made a U-turn and opened fire on the victim's vehicle at around 9:30 p.m. on Saturday, February
They could
15th,
just-
before fleeing the scene in his truck. He was apprehended nearby and taken to the police station, where he said that he had shot and killed 2 Palestinians he had spotted while driving, but both victims survived, one with a gunshot wound to the shoulder and the other with an arm injury from a grazed bullet. Braffman was remanded without bail to the Miami-Dade County Jail, where he's been held on attempted murder charges.
Crazy. Look at
His
this nigga.
attitude toward the victims stands in stark contrast to his interview with the media in 2023 about an Israeli flag that had been vandalized outside a coffee shop, during which he stated, "I'd like to see more unity for people to fight less with each other and be more together." Number 5. William Clifford. During the early morning hours of February 20th, 73-year-old tugboat operator William Clifford was found dead in the driveway of his Long Island, New York home with a gun nearby. Police were called to the Islip residence by a passing garbage man who determined that it was too late to save Clifford and dialed 911. While searching Clifford's residence, officers who determined that it was the gun lying nearby. Police were called to the Islip residence by a passing garbage man who determined that it was too late to save Clifford and dialed 911. While searching Clifford's residence, officers found the murdered body of his wife, 68-year-old Eileen, lying in a pool of blood. She had been fatally shot by her husband, leaving neighbors shocked by the violence that had occurred in their typically quiet community. The Cliffords had been married for a number of years, according to a law enforcement spokesperson, and were well liked by their neighbors. The circumstances that led up to the deadly incident are a mystery. Number 4. Joshua Dotson.
That's messed up.
With at least 5 homicides under his belt, 24-year-old Joshua Dotson is the self-proclaimed Michael Myers of Tennessee. He fatally shot his first
That boy got 5 hats out here, you hear me?
known victim, 18-year-old Divion Parker, in a Memphis parking lot in 2019. Dotson murdered Reginald Anderson and Renita Bennett at a park in May of 2020, and he killed his 7 months pregnant girlfriend, 19-year-old Jamisha Kovson, and her unborn child the following month.
They gonna handle him in jail.
Authorities, Dotson killed Kovson because she knew about his previous murders. He was sentenced to 2 consecutive 51-year terms for the deaths of Kovson and her child before pleading guilty to the other 3 killings, resulted in sentences totaling 159 years. Altogether, Dotson's sentences amount to 261 years. Dotson represented himself during his most recent trial, telling the jury that he referred to himself as a serial killer, while comparing himself to Michael Myers from the Halloween horror films. Much to the community's relief, he'll spend the rest of his life in prison.
Nigga wanted to go to jail. He represented himself and told him, "I'm Michael Myers."
A 50-year-old Florida man originally from Cuba is facing second-degree murder and arson charges after police say he detonated a car bomb while his wife was sitting in the passenger seat. The blast was captured on doorbell camera footage, which appeared to show Noel Ruiz Mestre setting off the homemade explosive during an argument with his wife in the residential Miami suburb of Hialeah. Mestre's wife died in the explosion while Mestre ran home and changed his clothes. He was taken to the emergency room with burns and a self-inflicted wound after calling 911 for help, and will be transferred to jail once he's well enough to leave the hospital. According to police, Mestre's wife tried to get
Nigga called 911 for help after just killing his wife because he burned himself with his own homemade bomb. Dickhead.
out of the vehicle before the blast but was trapped inside. Her identity has not been released. The couple's marriage was reportedly on the rocks at the time of the murder due to possible infidelity, but authorities have yet to verify these claims. Number 2. Taylor Mayer. 34-year-old Taylor Mayer of Jeffersonville, Indiana, put a lot of thought into surprising his wife, Deborah, with a Paris-themed Valentine's Day date night. But Deborah was apparently less than infused with the carefully planned evening, and she paid for it with her life. Mayer planned the special date after becoming infused with a Paris-themed Valentine's Day date night. But Deborah was apparently less than infused with the carefully planned evening, and she paid for it with her life. Mayer planned the special date after becoming suspicious that
I plan you a Paris-themed night for Valentine's Day, and you ain't too enthusiastic about the shit, you're gone. You're gone. I might get you out of there myself, just like I'm gonna keep it out. Like, there's no way, unless she cheated. She look a little thick. She might have been getting tapped, you know? R.I.P. to her, but she might have been getting tapped by somebody else.
Deborah was cheating on him with a co-worker. Hoping to win back his wife's love, Mayer had the couple's 3 kids draw Eiffel Tower pictures for their mother and planned a special dinner. But he got the impression that Deborah just didn't give a despite his painstaking efforts to woo her with the Parisian-themed celebration, and bashed her over the head with a bottle of wine before stabbing her dozens of times. Mayer then took a photo of his dead wife's body and sent it to the man he believed she was having an affair with, along with the caption, "Your fault." He pleaded guilty to a murder charge.
Nigga, damn! So, this guy gets his kids to draw Eiffel Tower pictures, you know. Set it up somewhere, get some candles, you know. Probably got a babysitter, thought he was getting some cheeks that night, you know. Set the whole thing up for his wife. I'm about to wine and dine you. We buy makeshift Paris, you know, Eiffel Tower that our kids just drew. The minute you saw the Eiffel Tower with the kids, should have changed your whole mood. And let you know the kids was involved, he thought. You know? Any nigga could just take you on a date. Nigga brought Paris to your crib. And I ain't even defending her, but come on, man. If you go cheat, you can't be enthusiastic towards one and then come home and, you know, and be on some bullshit with your husband. Bitch, I want enthusiasm too. You get that nigga you was cheating on with all the enthusiasm. You come home and you don't fuck with Paris in the crib. I got Paris in the crib. Let me start defending this man.
And will remain in custody until his trial, which is scheduled for July. Number 1. Detroit water main break. At least 400 Detroit households have been displaced after an old water main dating back to the 1930s broke in the southwest part of the city, leaving homes partially submerged in freezing water that has since turned to ice. Emergency personnel rescued an estimated 200 people and at least 12 pets who had been trapped inside their residences by the rising flood, which left vehicles almost completely underwater in some areas.
Jack, can you sue the city
will have to stay in hotels while
damage?
city workers carry out repairs, which are expected to take 2 weeks, and water supply agencies have agreed to cover damage costs that are not covered by insurance.
Okay. All right, that's good money, Chad. That's good money, because guess what, Chad? Guess what this water destroyed? Everything, Chad. And guess who don't got receipts? And guess who toaster just cost $250, Chad? Mine. Guess who had a $2,000 phone in their car and got water damage, Chad? Mine. You feel me, Chad? Guess who had a ring in my car that got wiped away that my grandma gave me, that was passed down from generation to generation, that was supposed to be given to me, Chad? Me? Chad, I'm going to be saying so much shit, cost so much. I'm out of here, Chad. If y'all think that was a banger, let me know in the comments. I enjoyed that video. If you want me to do one every week, let me know, man. I think this would be I think this would be a good video for, you know, every week. Yeah, I'm out of here, man. I appreciate y'all. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It's your boy, Yak. I'm out of here.